Hello and welcome back to another episode of You Want to Do What? Today we've got Hannah Del Herrera. She's a brand strategist and designer. Hi, Hannah.
Hi,
How are we?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good for a Monday. First day back after a nice weekend.
I feel you on that one.
Hannah, do you want to jump straight in and tell everyone a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so actually my career's I feel like it's only just at the beginning. So I only graduated last year, but I've been sort of dabbling in various different areas of design. I started and founded a design branding agency called Althea Sky Studios, where I've been working with businesses to help develop their brands and also their business strategy, but also sort of like helping out with mindset for some clients and also how they can position themselves and market themselves as well. So I kind of like to give an all-round package, which I think is quite important for a lot of like beginner brands who I tend to work with quite a lot. But also alongside that, I have been working full time as a designer at a startup called Stakester as well, which is really exciting. So we're an app that basically connects gamers across the world, and they can sort of put their skills to the test and compete against each other to win money and prizes and things like that. And so having these two different areas of career progression for me is like really exciting. I'm the type of creative that likes to dabble in a lot of different things.
I was going to say, so a year out of university, you started a business, you're working full time. That's pretty heavy
as well
going.
as in a startup. And startups are notorious for a lot of work going into them.
Oh yeah, but I find it really exciting. Like, it's funny because it doesn't really feel like work to me. So I need to check myself sometimes because I can end up working like 14 hours a day. It's kind of ridiculous. So I've recently, especially in 2022, been like, right, Hannah, you need to stop working so much and start resting a bit more and giving yourself more time. Otherwise, I've had creative burnout before and it's not great. So I'm trying to bear that in mind a bit. But I've always been super into dabbling in various different areas of business and entrepreneurship. And I did this all throughout uni as well. Like, I was always trying to figure out like what's the next thing I can do. And I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but
that's an interesting thing to maybe dive into. Like, obviously, if someone fairly fresh out of university, how did you discover what you wanted to do to go to university? What was school life for you like, and what sort of made you go down this career route?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of a fun story. So I've always my whole life been very creative, which I guess is like quite a cliche thing for creative people to say, but it is the truth. However, I was always in the mindset that, if you go into a creative career, then you won't really get anywhere, and you'll have this idea of the starving artist, and you won't make much money, you just won't be able to make it. And as somebody who's also quite entrepreneurial, that was like not a nice thought.
Yeah, not fancy that.
Yeah, but I wasn't experienced enough to know how to sort of utilize that entrepreneurial spirit at that age. So at 16 years old, in the UK, when you have to go to college or do your A-levels, I decided to go to college. I actually pursued music, and I was doing a songwriting course because I also love to write as well and play music. And I loved it, but I just couldn't see myself doing that anymore. So I kind of like was in this rut, like, what do I do next? It's funny because even at college, I was always doing design there too. I loved doing the flyers, the tickets. I was even designing logos for some of the other bands. So even then I was doing this sort of thing, but I just didn't know it at the time. But yeah, once I finished college, I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to go into and work. So I started working in sales, and I was okay at it. It was okay. It was nice to talk to people every day. And I mean, not everyone was very nice, but I did enjoy it. But I just knew that there was more for me out there. And I knew I needed to pursue like a creative career. Like, it was just calling me. So I didn't have any sort of art qualifications at all. And I was like, there's no way any university is going to accept me. But whilst I was working full time on the side, I was like really like for months, like hustling to get a portfolio together to just prove that like I can do it. And I went to the interview and I was like, please just give me a chance. And they said yeah on the spot, which was like really cool. Wow. And so yeah, and that's sort of like how I moved into a creative career. So I went to uni a bit late. It wasn't really late. I only took a few years out, but I was still like one of the oldest people in the course, which was quite fun. It was kind of a weird experience. But yeah, I was only like 21 and being called a mature student. I was like,
harsh.
Yeah, a little bit.
So what does a brand strategist and a designer actually look like? You know, what are you doing day to day?
So I guess my day-to-day is more design. However, my sort of approach to design is very strategic anyway. And I like to sort of use everything in a sort of holistic sense to impact the design. And I have a strong interest in human behavior and psychology and narrative and storytelling as well. So I like to use all these things to push design and push it to its best ability, basically, to have more of an impact in business. And the brand strategy side of it comes from like really understanding the foundations of a brand and what the business goals are, who the audience is, who we're trying to target, and sort of using that and utilizing it to further the design process. If I explained that very well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's just my approach to it. I think that approach, in my opinion, is the best way, not only to sort of obviously have an actual impact on a business, but also if you want to become a designer, having that sort of mindset and learning those skills can really set you apart from other competition when you're trying to get jobs and or freelance clients, because it really shows that you can actually do something productive for a business, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, I mean, we've had a few people on actually talking about brand recently, and something that they've all told us that going into an industry, it's quite difficult to, how do you put this? It's very difficult to be able to actually showcase the value you're bringing to the business, because when you hire some other, freelancers, you can very clearly see, you do this, you get X amount in return. But branding is more, like you said, holistic and more of a top layer. So some people find it difficult to understand, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's still so many businesses that don't understand the power of branding. But it's definitely more on the rise, which is really exciting for someone like me who really enjoys doing it and believes in it as well. But yeah, you're completely right. I think it's quite difficult for people to understand, especially if they're not creative or understand design. Because I guess it's kind of like it could be seen as a subjective thing, right?
Yes.
But that's why I think strategy really helps with that, because you can sort of give them something to say, this is why this design is going to work. Because if you can show them how, the colors you're using or the design style or the visual language that you're using directly relates to the strategy that you're laying out, then I think it can be a bit easier for business owners to understand.
Yeah. And so anybody listening to this thinking, do you know what, I'd absolutely love to do this, what are some crucial skills that they should be developing?
So I kind of went in a weird route. So I actually taught myself design. So I went to uni and did fine art, and I was actually painting. So I had to sort of like learn this on my own. And I basically learned by just diving straight into it. I think the first thing that people need to do is not overthink it, because I did that for a really long time. I knew that I wanted to do branding, but I just thought I had to know absolutely everything. So I started to try and learn like the history of design and all these things. And that's great to know. But I think you just need to sort of just get stuck in, basically, right from the beginning, and just maybe do some like passion projects that aren't real clients, but can sort of like get you to understand it, and then look at what other people are doing within these industries that you're interested in. But aside from that, obviously, having skills in software like Adobe or Figma or various other ones, that maybe if you can't, I mean, Adobe is ridiculously expensive, so I could understand why people wouldn't want to pay that. But, you know, there are alternatives out there. And I think just really using it every day and just being consistent with practice, you can get a lot better. And there's so many resources online as well. Like, honestly, Twitter, if you go on Twitter and follow people, they have great advice. I started doing that this year, and people are so talented on there, honestly.
Yeah, you know what? That's come up a few times now. People suggesting you follow certain people on Twitter. It seems to be a really good social to learn on.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people have the idea that Twitter is this like negative field of just like not
interesting
good
politics thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you get on the right side of Twitter, I just refuse to look at the engage section. But if you go on Twitter and follow like people that really know what they're talking about, and you know, these people are experts at what they do, right?
And I've always found Reddit quite good as well for learning.
Oh, I love Reddit. I love Reddit. Yeah, I use Reddit over Google. Like, if I need to know something, I go to Reddit over Google or something.
For you, obviously working as a freelance and within a company, how do those differ in your world? Like, what may be some challenges you didn't expect in one area compared to the other?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the biggest challenge actually is because I started doing freelancing and working with clients before I started full-time work. So obviously that was me on my own working with a company, and I could really be like, this is exactly what needs to be done. But then going into and working to a team, there's so many other talented people that also have their opinions. And I think when I first got there, I was like, really wanted my opinion to be the opinion that was right. But, you know, learning to understand that other people's insights are really, really valuable, and how much better something can be working in a team, I think that's really cool. And I would absolutely now love to bring more people in whilst I'm working with freelance clients as well, because I think it just really makes everything just so much better.
It's difficult, isn't it, when you're entrepreneurial to almost let go of the control of what you're doing, because you're like, well, no, I've started this and like I know what I'm doing, or oh, I really feel passionately about this. It's difficult to then listen to other people and work for somebody else, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's hard to be vulnerable and say, you know what, maybe this person knows more than I do, especially as like you know, quite a young, naive, maybe a fresh graduate who just really wants to make an impact and is really passionate about what they do as well. Just letting go of that and saying, you know what, there's still more I need to learn. That's hard, but it's also really admirable, I think.
And for you, what would be some personality traits that you see in yourself and maybe some of your colleagues that you think are quite critical for working in this industry?
Definitely need to be passionate. Like, if you're not really excited by what you do, I don't think you can get very far. And I think everybody has something in them that they would absolutely love to do, but a lot of people are held back by fear and limited sort of mindset around it. But if you have something that really fires you up, then just pursue it. Like, I think that's really what I kind of liked that about myself, that if I really wanted something, I would just go and get it. And I've noticed other people that work within this industry and are really successful and also have that. So I'm trying to sort of even be more like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And you can answer this in kind of any way you want, but for you, what's been the number one positive for going into this industry and working in it, whether it be working for yourself or working in a company? What's the number one positive you take away from doing this work?
For me, it would definitely be the fact that I feel like I can explore everything I'm interested in by doing it. Like, I love being creative and I love business and I love making money. I love developing ideas and thinking conceptually, and also being able to explore psychology and human behavior and how that can influence it. And I just find it really exciting. There's so many different areas that I can indulge in, and especially working with clients because I'm the type of person that like has so many ideas floating in my head, but I'm unable to pursue them all. And I'm like, oh, that'd be a great business idea, but realistically I can't keep like building new businesses all the time, right? So working with clients and getting to develop their business ideas and seeing it like flourish and succeed, it's just like so exciting, and I can do that over and over and over again.
That's really awesome, actually. For you, though, on the flip side of that, what would be some of the negative or less favorable aspects of the industry that you've discovered so far?
It's a lot of hours. It's hard to like draw yourself away from it. I've had to sort of learn how to balance life a bit better. I obviously went from being at uni, being a student, and then all of a sudden like going into full-time work and side business. So it's a lot, and trying to figure out how to balance that is hard, but you can do it. I'm not perfect, definitely not, but it is possible because I've seen other people do it. And also, I guess with design especially and business, they change rapidly, so you're always having to keep up with it, which can be difficult, especially with hard skills like design. Motion design's a new one, and 3D design. It's all these skills that you feel like, oh my god, I'm overwhelmed, I need to learn all these new things. But whilst it is overwhelming, it's also really exciting, and if you're the type of person that enjoys that sort of like ever evolving change within industries and always growing and getting better at what you do, then I think it's like really perfect.
And what would be something that's probably not going to be in a brand strategist or designer's job description, but you still have to deal with on a daily basis?
I think for me it would be having really good communication and social skills, because I'm not really that social. Like, it's took me quite a lot of years to figure out how to properly like engage with people and talk to people without letting it drain me, because I'm quite introverted. And if you, and I know a lot of other creative people are introverted as well. So if you're like that and that's kind of your personality, then having to talk to people all the time to network and communicate, like it can be tough. And I think I posted about this not that long ago, actually, and so many people messaged me like, I feel exactly the same. Like, it's hard, but it's also really necessary, and it's really fulfilling if you can balance it well.
And would you still go into this industry knowing everything you know now?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'd want to do it more. I kind of went into it a little bit blind. I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but it's kind of fun. And the more and more people I talk to and network with and engage with, it just like every single day I'm just inspired. It's amazing.
So would you have just got into it earlier, skip that sales part of your life?
Oh yeah, I absolutely hated doing that.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on and having a chat with us. It's been really helpful, and I wish you the best of luck with your career.
Thank you. It's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you so much. Where can people find you, find what you're up to, and maybe reach out if they have any questions?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Hannah Del Herrera, if you can spell it. I challenge you to spell that one. Also Twitter, it's also Hannah Del Herrera, but Hannah is on there spelled Hana, because it won't allow me to put my full name. It's too long, which is annoying. But,
Very annoying.
But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Amazing. Well, thank you again, Hannah.
Thank you so much.